Now we're recording, and I'll start the show in three, two, one. Hey, man, what's up? It is the Ace Micheals show, and it's Lorraine Sol on the show again. Yay, Lorraine Sol on the show today. Hey, before we start the show, I just want to mention something. 100 years or so from now, maybe 200 to be generous, our civilization will be over, and the people who go around and look for the bones and all that stuff, the archaeologists, they're going to find all of these cell phones and tablets and computers, and they're going to go, what were these people talking about that they couldn't warn themselves that there was a virus coming that was going to wipe out their whole civilization? Something to think about. All right, let's start the show. Ace Micheals show today with Lorraine Sol, getting started on a deep note, but still getting started nonetheless. Lorraine, welcome back to the show, darling.
Thank you for having me once again. I'm very excited to be here, per usual.
I'm sitting here thinking about bones with cell phones. Bones with
cell phones. I feel like you can work with that pretty well.
It can happen. So, Lorraine, you recently went through a transformation.
Of sorts, yes. So I recently went through a weight loss. I lost 30 pounds in a couple months.
30 pounds is a lot.
It is. So when that happened, it happened so quickly that when people saw me, they were so taken aback by how much weight I'd lost so quickly. They asked how I did it and if it was anything healthy, notable. What's the secret, So after so many people had asked me, I decided to come out with a brief video on my Instagram. I'm just kind of giving the bare minimum of really in depth about, what this diet really does for you and for your body and how you lose the weight without it being detrimental to your health.
So 30 pounds of weight loss was an actual goal?
Yeah, so I was peaking out at about like 197 pounds actually at one point. So I carry my weight pretty well, but I was not happy with my body because I was used to being a lot smaller, which my high school weight was 165, which I got back to. So I'm very, very happy about that. So I'm actually going on the diet again because I'd like to slim down just a bit more before I decide to try and find methods to bulk because gyms are closed now, unfortunately. But usually I go and I also do heavy lifting. So for the time being, though, I want to slim down a little bit more while I'm stuck in quarantine, and I want to get from 165 to 155. But yeah, so
I guess we go to the beginning of the story. What caused the weight gain?
So I kind of have this belief that everyone is allowed to have like a period of just kind of like carefreeness. I kind of knew that I was gaining weight, but I felt like I knew that there was going to be a moment where I was like, okay, I'm getting tired of this. And it kind of like when I hit like 190, actually, I was like, for me as a person. So I kind of then when I hit 190, I got depressed for a little bit, which added a couple more pounds onto me. But I kind of believe that people have a right to kind of hit a low and then, go back up and have that period of, doing whatever, being a little less responsible or having different focuses. And at the time, my body was just not my focus. So, but now I care. And obviously with the modeling, I need to make sure that I'm staying in shape and watching my weight and doing so in a way that's suiting me and in a way that I don't have to, restrict myself down to an extreme like the Victoria's Secret angels where they eat lentils and unseasoned salmon for 2 meals a day, I think. So this is not a diet where I had to give up that much. So I was really,
Mouth
really excited.
dried at just the thought of it. I was like, what? That don't sound fun. So modeling during this period where you were losing the weight, or when you were gaining
Yes.
the weight, were you
So I'm sorry.
were you modeling while you had gained the weight?
So yeah, I actually, when I was debuting, actually, I was at my heaviest. So
Hmm.
I I was still curvy nonetheless. I just happened to carry my weight that way. But I wasn't, I used to be so toned and nice. You know what I mean? So I was like, I kind of want to get back to looking at myself in the mirror and being like,
Hmm.
she, you know? And it wasn't that I didn't feel that way, but it was like I had to carry confidence with a little extra oomph because I had a little extra oomph. So,
Right.
um, so yeah, I just, it wasn't that I felt the need. I was being told that I was beautiful even with the weight on. So it wasn't that I was lacking in confidence and support, but it was really more so that I was like, you know what, if I want to continue to be great, I need to be at my best. And I know that this is my best, you know?
Hmm.
So it was time to get back into shape.
Now, speaking of your best, I saved this series of questions. I know for the last 6 minutes, some people have probably been cringing at this whole conversation because of body consciousness and what's considered beauty and what's not. Your weight, how important is your weight to your look? I mean, beauty is beauty. You're attractive or you're not attractive, right? It
Right.
shouldn't matter about your self-confidence, whether or
Right.
not you're thin, but
So
it does.
yeah, so here's kind of the difficult thing with me too, is that um, a lot of girls have to achieve my shape not only through working out but through waist training. The curves that I have are mine. And so I, even when I was heavier, I was like almost 200 pounds, and people were like, oh my god, I'm jealous of your curves. And I'm sitting here like, I feel a little sweaty right now, you know, like I feel, you know, not really great, but thanks, you know. So but in regards to body positivity and stuff, I just so happen to hit uh like a genetic lottery for my time, you know. And it's not so much uh and the reason I say that is because through my weight gain I still carried my shape, and people still were asking me, you know, what's your regimen? And I'm like, I've been sitting on the couch eating ramen for 3 days. You know, you know, at my worst. And so you also have to kind of take into account, like there's other like it's not even necessarily, you know, my weight, but also my shape. Like all things are unique, and people have these high expectations for a very specific body type that's trending, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so I don't I actually encourage people to achieve what's realistic for them. And that's why with this diet, um it's one of those things where you're forced to learn about your body. Not only are you doing this diet and you have to learn about food, and you have to learn about you know, keeping your body chemistry in check so that you can continue to be healthy. um you really have to understand that there are realistic expectations that you need to have for yourself and your goals, because even if you achieve my weight, you may not have my curves, and you need to be satisfied with that, because that's you, that's not me. And
Hmm.
so I don't want people to look at me and then have that expectation for themselves. I want them to take this diet and make a journey out of it so that they can understand what's their healthiest, and then be able to continue to tune in on that. Because everyone is going to be unique, because not everyone hit the genetic lottery, you know,
Hmm.
or maybe in their eyes. And that's really also a matter of opinion as well. So I feel like everyone needs to feel their best, and that's my goal in trying to share this information with everyone.
What's interesting is every few years, Mattel company that makes the Barbie doll will have the audacity to try. I don't know why they keep trying the experiment. It's not going to work, Mattel. People don't like it. But anyway, every so few years, they'll come out with what they call a real Barbie doll. And so they deviate from the norm of unrealistic body figurement of Barbie, and they come up with a curvier doll, or they come up with a Latin doll, or a black girl with what they consider real black girl curves, and people hit the ceiling. They go, dude, if you don't give me back the regular Barbie, we're gonna come down there and burn Mattel down. And then they change back to the real one. What are your thoughts? Does it give girls a realistic motivation to look at the Barbie? Because Barbie is anatomically impossible.
Yeah. I actually went to a museum when I was little, and they had a Barbie exhibit there, and they had a life-size, accurately like proportioned Barbie, and it was like, no, scary. I didn't want to be near it as a child, and so I feel like as far as Mattel doing what they're doing, and for like they've kind of set an expectation for their brand. So I've learned a lot about branding through modeling and stuff, and having to pick a certain aesthetic that and be consistent, because people have an expectation for you once you debut, and you need to vary. Like if you're trying to make changes in your image, then people kind of get taken aback. They're like, no, we have an expectation, like what happened with Miley Cyrus when she did her drastic
Miley Cyrus, what wait a minute, what happened?
When she went from Hannah Montana and the whole Disney thing to coming out and starting to do a little bit more, rowdy stuff. Yeah. So, and then people were taken aback, and I feel like when you have a brand and you have an expectation that you've carried for such a long time, like it's like changing, decades old recipe out of nowhere, and people have an expectation, and it's like, no, hold on. So yeah, I think that, sorry, I kind of talk everywhere, but in regards to the Barbie thing, I feel like it's our job to teach our children that there is a realistic expectation for things and a non-realistic expectation for things. For Barbie, from an artist's point of view, they've constructed a reality, you know what I mean? So like, for example, when you're reading a book in literature, like Harry Potter, they've set like a reality for that world. So they've, created a reality for Barbie, and they're trying to, change that. And so people, they just have they get hurt by the nostalgia changing.
Yeah, it's like changing. If we said the remake of Star Wars, Luke Skywalker will be black or Latin, and people go, Luke Skywalker can't be black. He can't be black. He can't be black. Well, why can't he? He's a character. He could be anything. He's a fictional character. But with regard to the body consciousness, men have our body consciousness things as well. Like, we don't want to have love handles for the most part. We'd like to have a square jaw like Superman for the most part. Although if we don't have those things, I think most guys would like to have pecs instead of just having like a flat chest. I think most guys would like for their chest to have 2 indentions and be basically shaped like a triangle down to the waistline. I think most guys would. Now, the thing is, if we don't really beat ourselves up over it so much. If we don't have those things, instead of the square jaw, it's more of the horseshoe shaped jaw, I think we still work with that. But women are different in the sense that there is a lot of body shaming in the feminine world. The magazines tell you better have these eyes, you better have these lips, because if you don't, you're just gonna be an old maid, because ain't nobody gonna want to marry you because you don't have the right eyes and lips, girl.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
I feel like it's interesting because I think right now we're experiencing like such a forte in the support of the difference in human, bodies, like on both ends. So the the popularity of the dad bod out of nowhere, you know, and like how everyone, you know,
Is that popular?
they I swear their girls are like, oh, I love my chubby dudes and stuff like that. And
Where's
like,
your girls at?
they're everywhere. Where are you looking?
Have you seen my status? I'm single. Where are those girls? I'm looking at the wrong girls.
In the wrong place. They're everywhere over here. but but yeah, as far as women go, especially being in the industry, I mean, it is very harsh because people have these expectations, and I feel like we're really, it's almost, oh gosh, it's like a tug of war right now, because it seems like we do have body positivity, but it's almost a brand, you know, and then behind the scenes there are still expectations, you know, for those women, those models on a business level. So I feel like, I don't know, it's interesting because I see a lot of lately, actually, a lot of including of, you know, a lot of different body types, not even just the plus size women that are curvy like hourglass shape, but, you know, women of all shapes and sizes, and, you know, all walks. And so
pineapple bodies and some banana bodies. I get what you mean. We got a whole fruit stand now. That's okay.
A whole fruit stand. That's hilarious. But yeah, it's been kind of it's been refreshing to see, at least in my experience of what I have on my social media, you know, such a overabundance of acceptance of everybody as equal. I've actually kind of tried so hard to make a point to surround myself with different brands and companies and people who are that way, and where I see that happening all the time. And so for the last couple of years, I find myself refreshed with this, you know, group of really incredible professionals who are so inclusive and defensive of equality for everyone. So
now, I had a unique experience. I got time for maybe one more question. I'll try to get this in. I had a rather unique experience. I witnessed a family. It was a father, a son, and a young daughter. I guess the girl was probably 9 or 10 years old. And the dad made a statement to the son. Well, I forget the girl's name. We'll call her Dory. He goes, well, you know, Dory couldn't do that because, you know, Dory's beautiful. And Dory, you know, she shouldn't dress like that, or she shouldn't do something, blah, 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 because she's not just like us. We have to remember that, you know, she's beautiful. She's a girl. And I thought about that. And on the one hand, I thought, well, what a wonderful sentiment, you know, to give her early, that, you know, hey, she's beautiful. She's, you know, she's a queen. She's a goddess, you know, she's got to have that for life. She, again, like I said, she's 9, 10 years old. But then I thought, what an extreme weight for her to have to carry through life. Like, oh, I got to be beautiful. Like, I can't, I can't just wake up. Like, I got to be fine as hell, you know?
yeah, and I feel like the thing is that I feel like a lot of women wake up every day and look at themselves in the mirror, and they have that pressure, you know, regardless of whether, because when you are, you know, the standard of beauty in, you know, whoever's eyes, it's not only an expectation, but people will come after you for not being the standard of beauty if you're not upholding it. Like if I came out and my hair is everywhere, massive bags under my eyes, and, you know, hangover eyeliner, you know, people are going to be like, oh, that hot mess, you know. And then I feel like regardless of whether you fit the standard of beauty or not, there's always going to be that pressure to be beautiful, because women's worth is so encapsulated in this idea that beauty is what they're good for, you know. And so I really just don't, beauty is not everything, you know. There's a drag queen whom I love named Bianca Del Rio, and she's hollering and she's like, beauty fades, stupid is forever. And I laugh every time, because I just, you know, we kind of live in a world that beauty is marketed everywhere, you know. And so when it's so profitable to be beautiful, or you can build relationships easier because you're beautiful or someone considers you beautiful. It makes it, there's going to be pressure from everywhere. You know, I've had friends who go to work without makeup, and their bosses will be like, you came into work looking unacceptable today. And it's like, sir,
Right.
you came in sweating under that ball cap. What are you talking about? I came in looking to work unacceptable because I had my hair in a bun and a naked face, you know, that kind of thing. And it's just like silly, I guess.
Well, before I run out of time, let's squeeze in one more. Define for me the distance between beauty and sexuality. It seems like pretty girls, for example, we've been talking about models, and I work with models. A lot of models that are pretty are solicited from photographers, and right off the bat, it's, well, we're going to do some nudes, some tasteful nudes, some artistic body shots, some fitness nudes, and some implied, probably artistic nudes, if you don't mind. And it's like, why must I be naked? Because I'm attractive to you?
So there also is a struggle with that. Like I'm someone who really wishes that people would take me and see me in other ways, you know, like I can do other genres, you know, I can do other modeling, I can be presented in different ways, but because I fit the sex industry so well, or, you know, it's marketable as like, oh, you know, you're curvy and, you know, you're sexy, and like you had, like, you also, you're branded by your body type too. So it's kind of like, what, gosh, I keep forgetting the term. You know, when you get casted based off of, you know, me, for example.
Typecast, you mean?
Typecasting, thank you so very much. I got typecasted a lot as you know, the other woman. A lot, and also like villainous and stuff like that, because I'm loud and aggressive, I guess. But I can play softer roles too, you know what I mean? And but people, they want to put you where it's easy sometimes, or where it's easy to make money, because money runs the world right now.
And would that affect your personal life? Like, okay, this is surely this will be the last one, because it's gonna shut off on us. Melania Trump gets a lot of flack for being a model, right? But that's because a lot of women in Washington, well, they wasn't no models, that's for sure. They was never models. There's no way with those cankles, you know what I'm saying? So she gets a lot of flack for having been a beautiful woman who made a living in her underwear and other fitness and fashion style models. She had a great body. She was, you know, if you're into that type of thing, she had a great body. No, she did. She's a beautiful woman, okay? Hands down. But she gets flack for that, for having once been beautiful and once using her beauty to make money. She gets flack.
I mean, I feel like the hypocrisy of wanting to see naked women, and then when these women have been naked for you and then go other places, you're like, I don't respect you. And it's like, well, you respected me the other night. So did, like, so, you know, it's
yeah.
Well, like,
part two, we have to discuss what happens in one's personal life. Like when you are considered a certain level of sexy, which is the problem I always have. And people say, well, you're just sexy. Like, you're not someone that I'm going to have a relationship with. You're not someone I'm going to have a marriage. Like, I'm not going to tie down to you, but you are sexy. You are good enough for a certain thing, good looking enough for a certain thing.
Yeah. You know, it's really interesting because as the industry evolves, you start to see so frequently that beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. And, you know, you can't let other people validate that because of what they want. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, me coming up in the industry, that's really, now my goal is not to be what they want. It's what I want. Hello? Like, who are we talking about? It's about me. It's not about them, you know? So build your own kingdom and your own, you know, your own worth.
Your own worth. And there it is. Because the final thoughts on today's show, a real man knows a real woman when he sees her. There it is. Hey man, it's Ace Michael Show. My guest Lorraine Sol. She's always fabulous fun. Lorraine, how do we stalk you on the internet?
You can stalk me on the internet by following me at Lorraine Sol Official on Instagram. My Facebook page is Lorraine Sol, and my Twitter is at the Lorraine Sol.
And that is what's up. Hey man, Ace Michael Show. Live the life you love. Love the life you live. Thank you.